Look, I learned at a young age that if I wanted to do something, then I could figure it out. But simply getting it done was never enough. If I was going to do it, I was going to do it right. Even though I was the only little person in my family or my community, I had some good role models growing up. From parents that overcame the struggle of poverty while raising a child with dwarfism, a child that would require more than 30 operations, minutes turned into days, and the days turned into weeks. Spent in hospitals and Ronald McDonald houses hours away from home, and yet they still found the time to build and successfully run multiple small businesses. In order to send me to private school, because the public school wouldn't accept me. And then there were the great men and women of our military. Individuals from every division and special forces unit. They were like my brothers and my sisters, my aunts and my uncles, or my favorite cousins. They were like family. Crazy family, but family. See, when I wasn't in the hospital as a kid, I spent my weekends in a drop zone. It's safe to say that skydiving and aviation are in my DNA. All in all, these people displayed honesty, integrity, and courage in the face of adversity. They taught me work ethic and how to play. I learned to laugh at myself and pick myself back up again. I learned mind over matter. And it was through them I'm reminded of why I love my scars. Because they're emblematic of everything that I conquered. You often hear the slogan of jack of all trades and master of none. My dad always jokes and says this is him. See, he's never been willing to pay somebody to do something that he can learn to do himself. But the truth is, he's more like the master of all trades that he touches. And that's for one reason. Because he doesn't take shortcuts. He showed me how to take pride from my work by putting pride into it. And I told you all this because all of which I've experienced has become all that I am. Without witnessing people that believed in themselves, I may have never learned to believe in myself. And this takes me to my final story before I get into the purpose of today's video. Well, battery died. Show's over. Go home, folks. I'm just playing. Anyway, while I plug up this camera, I'll tell you the story. So when I was young, my mom showed me a picture of my Grandpa Bowman's house up in the mountains. She explained that he was the one that built it. He didn't pay anybody to do it for him. He did it with his own hands. That very same house became the family house for generations to come. As a kid, the idea of someone building their own house was amazing. I looked at him like a Paul Bunyan of sorts. Even as a child that was finding a way to do anything I pretty much wanted to do, I was always pretty rational. I knew that no matter how much I loved football, that I'd never play in the NFL. So I learned to master trades within reason. And yet I always knew the idea of building my own house was within reason. Physical strength was never the issue. It was simply reach. I mean, I'm a little person. We're built like ants. Pound for pound, we put bodybuilders to shame. I knew that if I could reach it, I could do it. The manifestation of your world is merely a product of the focus of your vision. And with that said, I introduce you to a product of my focus, of my vision. Enter my sanctuary. Okay, we're going to start in my kitchen. For a size reference, it's a cozy 4x8. The ceilings are around 5 foot. Of course, being this small, I couldn't buy anything pre-made. So I had to build everything from the front door to the counters to the cabinets. I'm using a small convection oven as my main oven, and this is actually a concession stand sink because this is the only thing that was small enough to fit in my counter. I really like how my door is turned out on this window. These are the hot eyes I use in my stovetop or my custom cabinets. I'm currently hanging my pots from the ceiling. I climb on the bar to get them down. I plan to automate this in the future. I wanted this bar so I could see the TV from the kitchen. I had to give this small house that open feel as much as possible. Well, I won't show you any of my special recipes, so I guess that sums up the kitchen. Let's move on into the living room. This room is an 8x8, and the ceilings are around 5 feet at the edges of the room, and peaks out about 6'4" in the center. Again, I had to custom build all of my furniture because of the size requirements. I built this couch out of pallets and spent several months experimenting with foam to get the cushions right. The AC is just a window unit mounted into the wall. It's sufficient to cool the entire house. And this is actually a new TV stand. It's not the one that I first built when I moved in. My house is constantly evolving. I decided early if I'm going to build a house, I'm going to build it convenient. That means everything operates by remote or voice control. Hey Siri, set lights to movie mode.
Okay, done.
Hey Siri, open Harmony. Harmony is an inexpensive universal remote system that allows me to control Bluetooth and IR devices from an app. Here I'm showing you how I can use it to turn on my AC. Yeah, it's loud. I turn it off when I shoot videos. So now that you've seen the living room, I'll show you the office/snake room. This room started off as the bedroom, but I found myself sleeping in the living room more and needed some office space. So I used the original bed frame that I built and converted it into a raised desk. And even 3D printed some custom wood doors. This is Scarlett's new custom enclosure. You can see that epic build process in one of my previous videos. The windows all the way around this room provide the best view of my wildlife. And that's my 3D printer I need to dust off and get back in action. So now let's go downstairs and look at the coolest tiny bathroom that you've ever seen. This right here was a real labor of love that I cherish every day. All you folks with bathroom privilege, y'all don't know the struggle. Ah yes, custom counters, custom shower bath combo, and of course even the bathroom needs a view with a walkout deck. I enjoy taking a bath while watching my deer walk around in the yard. But most of all, I enjoy having a bathroom that fits after 41 years. So even though I installed a youth toilet, I still decided to build a raised step around it and my shower, just to make it easier as I get older. This shower was by far the most intense thing that I ever built by myself. I ran 1,000 pounds of concrete and a few hundred pounds of tile, and 3 days of mixing and carrying concrete, bucket, and tools up and down the hill to the water faucet. I'm telling you right now, don't ever underestimate anybody in front of you. You have no idea what they might be capable of. So I didn't want a plain white ceiling. I bought this waterproof vinyl image off of eBay, stuck it in a frame between a piece of wood and plexiglass, and screwed it into the ceiling. Oh, and of course the shower lights had to be voice activated too. Hey Siri, turn on shower light.
Okay, done.
Hey Siri, set shower lights to chill mode.
Okay, done.
I love being able to change the lights to match my mood. Sometimes I find myself getting tired of a particular color, and I change it up. It also had various effects, and the ability to dance to music, which I don't really use, but it's cool. I hate traditional boring faucets, so I put a rainfall head in the shower, and a waterfall faucet in the sink. Now this part I just added in the past few months. My closet. Of course you can never have enough saloon doors. This part is actually still under construction, but I have enough done that I'm willing to show it. This closet is only an 8x8, but it gives me a lot more needed storage space than I had before. As you can see, I still have to get another set of doors for this cabinet. Oh, my clothes rod is something I also have to finish. I created a set of arms that hold the rod at both ends that swivels on skateboard bearings. My plan is to buy a set of linear actuators to run at both ends, allowing me to lower my clothes by pivoting the rod out about 30 degrees. Hey Siri, hand me my clothes. Coming soon. And that pretty much sums up the house in its current state. But it's always evolving. Oh yeah, I'll show you one more cool thing that I came up with. Both windows on this end of the house, upstairs and down, are turned sideways so that I can use them like sliding glass doors. I still have to complete the deck on the upper level to enjoy it though. So how did all this start? Well, for a couple years I've been talking about getting a small building and converting it to a tiny house. Then one day my dad found a small playhouse, an 8x8 with a 4x8 front porch, going to waste in someone's front yard. After a little bit of bartering with him, he brought it home for $100 and surprised me. So this house has come together in some stages. As I'm working on one stage, I get the brilliant idea to start another one before I'm even completed with that one. So I started by replacing all the exterior wall panels, rebuilding the roof, and rebuilding the front porch. I decided I wanted a really big back porch because the house was so small. So as I was building that back porch, I started calculating plans in my head for arranging my living room. It didn't take long to realize that an 8x8 room wasn't going to be sufficient for a full living room and any kitchen appliances like a small refrigerator or a microwave. So I decided to put the back deck on pause. I tore off the recently rebuilt front porch and decided to close it in and make a kitchen. So as I was building that kitchen, I got to thinking, the living room's not big enough yet. So I decided to use the framework that was going to be the back deck, close it in and make a bedroom, which has now become my office. When it came to building my bathroom, I had originally planned to build it off the side of the living room, but I was really wanting to get it done before the winter, and I didn't have the money at the time to build a whole new roof structure. Also, because my house had expanded beyond the original plans, and we're on a lot of sand here, I started getting some settling. So I decided to go ahead and replace the 4x4 posts that were under the house with large concrete footers and 6x6. While doing this work, I thought it would be better just to put the bathroom under the house. At the least, that would prevent me from having to expand the roof. So that was it. That was the entirety of my house for a couple of years, until this year. That's when I decided to take out more ground up under my living room and add my closet. I needed more room for my clothes and a larger storage space. Not only did it give me a lot more storage, but it also helped me insulate my living room a lot more. So far this winter, I don't have to turn on my heat until the temperature drops below 30. My house stays warm. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed seeing my house in its current state. If you did, please take the time to hit the like button. It's free. And if you want to see more videos about my life, subscribe. It's free too. So I do have big plans coming up. I need a bigger kitchen and more room for average sized guests. So I plan to expand out by 16 feet. That'll give me a lot more kitchen and pantry space and a large living room on the lower level. So essentially everything that I have upstairs now will become a loft overlooking the new addition. That'll give me about 10 or 11 foot ceilings in the new expansion. So that'll help it feel real spacious even though it's still a tiny house. I also bought a hoist motor to build an elevator. I was going to use it to replace the ladder going out of my bathroom, but I've since decided to leave that ladder as like a backup option. And instead I'll put the elevator in the corner of the living room. And when I'm done with all that, I'll start working outside. My decks, my outdoor kitchen, and ultimately, I'd like to build a mini swimming pool. You know, as a final touch. It's just a personal challenge that I've always visualized myself completing in the future. So anyway, I hope this is some inspiration or some motivation to you to try learning a new skill or setting a new goal. Do not be overwhelmed by the complexity of the enormity of the task. Pay no mind to the time invested. Appreciate and respect the process. Remember, this is not a race. This is a marathon. Finally, I'll leave you with a photo reel of the entire building process. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and y'all have a good one. Man, you better hit that like button. Make sure you signed in too.